Ziad Fariz is the central bank governor of Jordan, which was one of the top governors according to the grades of global finance. So welcome and congratulations.
Thank you.
Can we start with a few words about the Jordanian economy right now?
Jordanian economy is going through a reform program aiming at enhancing growth and development and making sure that monetary and financial stability are on track. This is at a time where the Jordanian economy also is facing some new burdens imposed on it because of the regional crisis and refugees coming to Jordan and impose so many burdens on the population and on the budget and on the resources of the country. So the Jordanians are on efforts to face these challenges and try to turn these problems into an opportunity for growth and development for both the refugees that they are coming to Jordan and the indigenous population that they are trying to maintain the standard of living that is acceptable.
Mr. Governor, you mentioned growth. Growth is one of the key issues being discussed at these IMF meetings. Let's talk for a minute about growth in Jordan. Where do you stand, and where is growth enough, or you have a different target?
Well, the growth we were expecting this year, that growth will achieve about between 2.5 and 2.8% growth. This is despite the difficulties that we are facing in enhancing exports because of borders difficulties with neighbors like Syria and Iraq. Our exports to Iraq has dropped tremendously. Also, I have to admit that investment, as it is in the whole world, international investments are not growing as much as we would like, although this year investment has increased much better than last year. And with the efforts now is to concentrate on allowing private sector to do more efforts on behalf of the government. And by doing so, we're trying to reduce the budget deficit and the financing requirement for the government and give more room for the private sector to participate in not only industrial and manufacturing and other services, but also in infrastructure projects.
Speaking of infrastructure, can you tell us about the discussion that went on at the IMF and the World Bank meetings so far? What do you think are the key issues, and what is your opinion on what is being discussed? All this discussion about too little growth.
Too little growth, and hopefully the growth will come as it was indicated in the discussion and the statements made by the IMF officials, that the growth will come basically from emerging markets rather than from developed markets, which also another indicator for more serious efforts from the developed countries to do something to increase demand and create more growth and development.
One of your colleagues, other governors, was mentioning the effect of negative interest rates on developing market. Is that something that you feel? Is that something that affects directly into your economy?
Well, our economy is a bit different, although it's affected. But interest rate in Jordan is positive because inflation is down and interest rate is reasonably much higher than the core inflation and cost of living index. So the problem is negative interest rate make the question of managing reserves for developing countries more difficult and probably costly.
And lastly, do you find the atmosphere compared to other of these meetings more positive, or you find there is a concern?
I don't think it's much different, but I can see the feel and the concern about growth, and despite the efforts made by central bankers, by all policies to create demand, they feel that this is not yet enough, and it's not happening as much as we would like it to happen. Although some economies are doing much better than others, but the feeling that there is much efforts to be made to resume growth as we'd like it to be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations.